Welcome back to the Multifamillionnaire podcast, beautiful people, where we dig deep into the strategies, the stories, and the mindsets that fuel long term success in real estate and business. And today's topic is the business owner's check engine light. Well, business metrics that matters with Cheddy Matthews. So I'm your host, Selcuk and today I'm joined by a special guest, Cheddy Matthews. Hi, Cheddy.
So
And good, how are you, my friend?
wonderful.
So the Cheddy is a retired U.S. Marine, an entrepreneur, and investor whose story proves that sometimes the most powerful business lessons come from the most unexpected places. So he and his wife built a cleaning business that became more than just a source of income. It created jobs and empowered men and women, and even gave them an early warning of the 2008 recession long before the headlines caught up. So today, we're going to talk about how to read the signals in your own business, the check engine lights. So you can pivot with confidence, and prepare instead of panic, and build resilience no matter what the market throws your way. So, Chetty, welcome to the show again.
Thank you so much for having me, Selchuk. I love being here. It's always good to work with you, talk to you, and just learn a thing or two. Whenever you speak, I get wiser. So let's dig in. Let's go.
Well, today I'm going to learn from you, my friend. So, okay, well, let's start at the beginning. Uh, what was it like balancing life as a Marine while helping launch and support a business at home?
I'll tell you, it can be challenging, and sometimes it can be virtually impossible. I mean, a lot of people do it, and right now it's a lot easier with smartphones and the internet and Wi-Fi and the ability to connect and contact people in remote locations makes life easier. When I first started doing it, I had a smartphone and I was like way ahead of the times, had this smartphone. And I used to work at the Pentagon and would leave the Pentagon, get my phone, go into the courtyard, break out my little smartphone and do business transactions for one of my businesses. I used to sell car parts, so performance car parts for European cars. So I would do transactions at my lunch break outside and then put it away, go back inside and do my day job, do my government job because you never want the two to mix. But it was important for me to do something else. The Marine Corps, the military in general has a shelf life. Whether you do 4 years or
Yeah.
40 years, there's a point where you realize this is going to be over. So my mind was, let me look at things I can do to generate revenue and income and hopefully replace my military income with my other businesses and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So we had a few.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
started one of us the car parts. So I would sell European car parts because I used to drive a European car and I used to modify it and trick it out. So I was in that world where I'm putting all the things on the car, making, adding horsepower to the car and lowering it and high performance brakes, the whole nine yards. So I was like,
Hmm.
well, let me sell the things that I would put on my own car. So I started doing that. And then at some point I decided, let me do more than that. I wanted to sell cars, but you really couldn't do that in the military. You just couldn't. You're not there enough. It's a full-time job, and the Marine Corps is, of course, a full-time job and a half. So that wasn't
Yeah.
working. I said, well, the next best
Hmm.
thing is to sell the parts. But I had a
Hmm.
friend who allowed me to buy some equipment. So I bought a tire changing machine, wheel balancing machine, and all the things you need to replace rims and wheels. So I would sell wheels and tires. And what I would do is
Hmm.
I go to the Pentagon in the day, come home, take off my uniform, put my coveralls on, order some stuff in. It would come in, and I'd put them on people's cars. And it was just a good way to learn the business and learn how to kind of get into that space and learn how to wholesale and get the equipment. So that was great for me. I loved it. And then when I had a business as well, it's in business. That too much. Awesome business. I love it. It was in the yellow iron space. Um, off-road forklifts, bulldozers, any kind of strange equipment, kind of getting the lease in for that so companies could lease the equipment, then own it, which is better for their books. And it would be a way for them
Hmm.
to kind of offset that expensive cost because that machinery is expensive, but you need it if you're in that
Okay.
space. So it was just a way to help
Yeah.
people to get that equipment. It was great, great business, made some great people in there, great connections, learned a lot about non-traditional financing, which is pretty awesome. But then
Yeah.
in 2006, we had our daughter. So we had our youngest child, and wife decided she didn't want to go back to work straight away. She wanted to be home and be maternal. I was like, great, that's fine. No worries. But as my daughter got a little older, she was like, I think I want to go back to work. So the choice was, do you go back to your career or do you do something on your own? And I already had a business. I was like, well, we already do this stuff. Let's just do what do you want to do? So
Hmm.
we created initially it was a residential cleaning company because we said there are
Hmm.
busy professionals just like us who honestly, if we could get those few hours back a week, it will improve our lifestyle. We can get more rest, we can have more family time, we can have more ease. And the people we know are in that same space. We're not the only people who have to commute to work, come back, try to make food, try to spend some family time, and then do all the house things. We said if we can alleviate that pressure off of people, they'll probably pay us for that. So we saw
Hmm.
a problem that we had that we could identify with other people, and we started the company. Long
Yeah.
story short, soon thereafter, after starting it, we got some clients that were like, "Can you do my company as well?" So we started doing office cleaning. I was like, oh, "That's cool, that's gravy." And then we started doing kind of light industrial cleaning for people that had warehouses and stuff like that. And those are different. They're not all the same. Different equipment, different risks, different chemicals. But we were in these spaces, and I was like, "This is actually pretty cool" because it was kind of diversified. Residential is one thing, one price point. Office is another price point, and industrial is another price point. So it felt like we were diversifying and kind of really reaching out to our market. But we kept it small. And then we realized that the people we were hiring people that were, best way to put it is people that may have been overlooked by the economy. And being the professional she is, me being the marine, like, what can we do to help them to build their confidence and just do all the things? So we would have them do like the preps with the families and do the work you had to do before somebody would say, yes, I'll sign a contract with you. So what it did was it gave them didn't, but that was the plan
Yeah.
because we saw the benefit of how this was helping women transition from where they were, predominantly women, it wasn't just women, but predominantly women, transition from where they were to where they wanted to go. And I was like, this is great. It was an
Yeah.
unintended benefit of the business.
Mm.
Learned some things. We learned some
Yeah.
things. One of the things I learned.
Yeah. 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 So it's, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry. I don't
No,
want
no,
to
it's
cut
fine.
you.
Please, it's please. You learn a lot in that kind of a space. One of the things we did was we would use my wife's SUV to do a lot of the cleaning because it was a car. It was bigger than my car. I had a sports car, so I was like, "Well, you're not using my car."
Mm.
Note to self: don't use a Lexus to put your cleaning supplies in and go to someone's house and say you're here to clean. Not exactly a good
Yeah.
branding tool, not a good marketing tool. It just doesn't
Exactly.
didn't work. And it took us a while to figure that out. Like, you know what? Let's buy another vehicle and use that vehicle because you don't want to go to
Mhm.
someone's house in a nice Lexus SUV talking about, I'm here to clean your house, or I'm here to clean your office building. It just didn't make sense. Lesson learned. Things you don't even think about. It was like a blind spot. But again,
Mhm.
you got to keep monitoring these things and looking for feedback and seeing how you can change and improve and things that don't work, change them or stop doing them. So that was one lesson that
Mhm.
I learned, and I call it the Lexus effect. Like, whoop.
I hear you, right? I mean, it's not really matching what you're doing and what you haven't, and as a tool and all that.
Yeah.
Everything has to make sense, right? And at the end of the day, you have your client base and that their perception and all that, it affects your business. And so you're you're Marine, and you were still Marine when you
Yes,
started business. And
of course.
well, we're just talking about like above the regular business operating, right? So what were some of the surprises, unexpected lessons, like at top of your head? It just
Oh
popped
yeah.
in your top of your head right away. What was that
Oh,
when you're running that business?
for me, I ran it in some ways very similar to I do things in the military. So it was like we're gonna do something and we're gonna assess it and evaluate it to make sure it's good. So almost like a cycle. You operate, you exercise, you come back and you debrief. You kind of do a hot wash. You see, did that work? What worked? What went well? What didn't go well? So we would do feedbacks and surveys and ask, our clients if there's any recommendations, just all those kind of things. How does your floor look? Is this the right chemical for that floor? Just those kind of things to see what people liked. The reviews were really high. So we're like, okay, people like what we're doing. We had some things that we adjusted. But then at some point, before the recession hit, I remember President George W. Bush at the time, got on TV and said, "We're not in a recession." I said, "Okay." But he said that. And I remember looking at our numbers, and all of a sudden, the clients that would use us 5 times a week were scaling back to 3 times a week. And I'm like, what's going on? So we'd go back and review the surveys. Are they unhappy? Are they disgruntled? Did we do something wrong? No, they're fine. They're happy. Everything's fine, but they're reducing the amount of times they see us. And I was like, wait, that's strange. And what I started to notice is the higher net worth clients or the larger companies were the last ones to reduce their time. So
Mhm.
what I realized was the everyday person, and we were, you know, middle class, doing well, nice suburban communities. So people were working well and doing well, making, good income. But one of the first things to go are luxury items, things that you don't really need. And they held on, they reduced it. And then at some point they were like, we can't do this anymore. I was like, I remember telling my wife, babe, something's going on. I mean, I know they're saying they like the service, but they're reducing the amount of time they use us. Are we doing
Mhm.
something wrong? And we were sitting there, what could it be? Either they're lying and they're telling us the service is great, but we really don't like it. They had no reason to do that. I mean, or the money's not there for this service. So even though there's not a recession per se, officially, the people that we're dealing with are feeling the impacts of some kind of a compression. Something's happening with the economy that's affecting them at the local level. And the fact that it
Mhm.
was happening to certain levels and not others, I was like, oh, okay. We go to a gated community, a certain subdivision, they weren't getting rid of it for a while. And then there was a point where it impacted them as well. I was like, okay, I see what's happening now. You can see how the economy is impacting people. And this was the first thing to
Mhm.
go. And even some of the industrial and office clients started to tighten their belts again. And I was like, okay. So you realize whatever those metrics are, when you start seeing dips or changes in those numbers, check them out. I call it a check engine light because a check engine light comes in your car. It's not always bad. It could be, hey, tighten up your gas cap. It could be, you have some accounts receivables you haven't collected yet. It could be something minor, but it's something that's a signal. And if you don't monitor it or pay attention to that signal, it could become worse. It could become worse. It's not saying it's a
Yeah.
catastrophe, but it's saying, hey, you may want to look out for this. So when we start to see these signals, you realize that they're telling you a story. The data tells you a story. The feedback you get tells you a story. And it may not seem important, but if you track some of that data, you might see we've been trending down for a few months, but it was so small we didn't notice it. Or
Mhm.
some price has gone up, which is affecting us somewhere else down the pipe. You want to look at that data just to make sure that the numbers, if there's an anomaly or something you don't expect, you can figure out why. And if you don't know exactly why, that's fine too. But you want to know, if for no other reason, you want to know, what can I do if this means that? So what if there is a recession? What do we do? We had people
Yeah.
that were working for us on payroll. So we're like, babe, I think we need to train them and help them do resumes. You're an HR professional. I can help them do presentations and or, speak and whatnot. So let's help them to kind of train them up in case they need to go somewhere else to find a job. So that's what we
Mhm.
did. We helped them with resumes. We helped them find jobs. We helped them with just what's the good word for it? The interview skills and stuff like that, the confidence to present themselves in front of somebody so that when they left us, we could give a good product to someone else. So for me,
Mhm.
at some point we exited the business because I'm in the military. I was getting deployed again. My wife decided to go back to work. And the people that we hired, we had helped them to transition and move on to something else. So it was a good time for us to exit. But I remember
Mhm.
we started this exit plan before before they said there's a recession. So we weathered the recession a little bit, but we're like, we knew this was coming. Like we saw it.
So
What the data
you've
showed.
seen the patterns, some specific metrics and patterns on
Yes.
the demand from your customer, and maybe they cutting down their service they requiring and all that stuff. But you were a Marine, right? So how did some of the Marine values that you've been trained in those years that help you to come overcome this, I'm not want to say objection, because they didn't have an objection. They were just getting having less income, so they can have give less business to you. How did you overcome with your experience, Marine being a Marine experience with those?
So we thrive in austere environments. We thrive in adversity. We thrive in uncertainty. This is what that kind of an economy brings you. All of those things, all the things coming at you at once. But
Hmm.
because we planned, you have contingency plans. We do the what if game. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this? And the more you what if, the more you have those kind of imaginary issues, the more you can kind of have a plan for those issues. A contingency plan. Well, what if a piece of equipment breaks, as happened before? What if this? What if our clients stop using our services? So we changed our prices. We did some other things. We tried to have like loyalty where if you stay with us for now, we'll give you an extra cleaning for free or something like that. We tried different things, but you realize you have to overcome, adapt, and improvise. You know, you have to, because if you're not adapting, you're not overcoming and improvising, things change all the time. And we say in the Marine Corps a lot of times, the enemy has a vote in your plan. Life has a
Hmm.
vote in your plan when it comes to your business. You wrote your business plan by yourself, and life has a vote in your business plan. We just didn't ask them,
Hmm.
but they still have an input. And you have to think about those things. And I tell people, control the things you can control, monitor and regulate the things you can monitor and regulate, because there's so many things out of your control. The best thing you can do is control what you can and have a good grasp on the things you have a control of. Because there's so
Hmm.
much volatility. There's so many things external to you. You don't have any control over customers, clients, a lot of your stakeholders, the market,
Hmm.
into global economic factors that have nothing to do with you, but they impact you. So focus on what you can
Hmm.
focus on. Some of your costs are fixed and
Yeah.
they don't change, and some of your costs go up and they go down. And you've got to figure out what that is and how do I pivot and how do I still, make myself relevant,
Hmm.
cost effective, and effective as a business with all of these things that are happening. So it helps you to kind of see a clear path in the midst of a storm. And I
Hmm.
think that was part of the
Well,
business.
yeah. So you mentioned, already, a second ago, but so let's like summarize that today's entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
So they have to have like a dashboard, and they have some certain metrics on it about their business.
Oh, yeah.
Based on your experience, if you want to mention like a few items, like a headline, like a title, so how can entrepreneurs today set up their own dashboard to watch for this early warning signals? They're in the business, they have a budget, and all that stuff. What would you say about it in a
I
nutshell?
I'm always using car analogies because I think because that was my
Hmm.
first book was the business tune up. That was so there's always this car theme to the things I do. But I would tell you track your inflows, track your outflows, all those metrics. How much money's coming in, how much money's coming out, how many people are you reaching, how many people are reaching back. Check the frequency of customer engagements. Check how many times you're
Hmm.
getting chargebacks, how many people are returning items or have
Hmm.
complaints, or how many times you're getting 4 stars instead of 5. Whatever metrics are important to you in your business, if you're doing a service, did you get excellent or did they give you an okay grade? Well, why is it okay instead of excellent? What can I
Hmm.
do to make my
Yeah.
okay turn excellent the next time? Those things may not seem important in the micro sense. In the macro scale, that's going to impact your business. So know your inflows and outflows, and you know your business, so you know what data is important for you.
Hmm.
We know what data is important for you, and in all of the data that you look at, have a number, have a threshold. If this number goes below this, if we make less
Hmm.
than, if we have a 5% or a 10% reduction in sales, I want to get that phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning. I want to
Hmm.
jump on that, stop what we're doing, and figure that out. That's important to us. If
Yeah.
if we have 10 trucks and we're down to 70%, three of our trucks are down, I need to know about that. That's going to impact us. And little things like that. Have numbers where you know you almost have a range where this is good. We're operating in the green. We're operating above green, which is great, or we're operating below our capacity right now
Hmm.
in our threshold. This is not
Hmm.
good. We need to check some things and see what we can do to fix this. And I don't want to tell you what numbers to use because it's very specific to your business, but you know what inflows are important, what outflows are important, what inputs and outputs, what products are important to you, what numbers make your business run, and check
Hmm.
those numbers and be very intimate with those numbers. Another thing I
Yeah.
would tell you to do is prepare versus react to downturns,
Hmm.
external effects, impacts, things that impact you that you have no control over. You can prepare for those things or you can react to them when they happen. And I recommend preparing for them. And it doesn't mean spending a lot of time doing it, but what if we get robbed? What if our warehouse gets broken into? But yet we have a
Yeah.
mission to send things out. Have at least a plan of who do you call? What do you do? How do you track it? What insurance company you call it? Whatever you got to do to get your business back on track as quick as possible. What if there's a natural disaster? What if there's any kind of a civil disobedience, anything that impacts your business? What are you going to do to fix that? Um, what if
Yeah.
all of a sudden the quality of some of your products is trashed in social media? How do you fix your reputation? Have a plan for what you do to get in front of these things via scrambling when these things happen. I like a SWOT analysis because it's a good way for people to think about things that can impact your business. What are the strengths of your business? You know, what are some of the weaknesses, things you need to work on? And what are some opportunities in the market that you can kind of capitalize on? And what are some of the threats, your competition, things that can destroy your business? Always know those things. So when you see them a mile off, you can already prepare for them. If you're not preparing for those things and they surprise you, you're going to react, vice
Yeah.
respond with a prepared response because you plan for it. So those are things where you can forecast the best you can. I mean, we can't control the weather, but we can wear a raincoat or wear a hoodie or a t-shirt or sunglasses. So we can do the things we
Yeah.
can do. And so control what you can and leave the rest up
Mhm.
to leave the rest to what it is. What you can do is prepare for it. You can't fix it or control it. So
Yeah, that was perfect. Yeah. Well, how do these lessons, though, translate into your work in multifamily and real estate and investing? Can you give us a couple ideas about it?
it's funny because when I was first broached with this topic, I was like, how does it apply? It
Hmm.
absolutely applies. Real estate,
Hmm.
multifamily real estate is a business just like any other business. And we provide a
Yeah.
good and a service. And there are so many data points. And the one data point that you miss is the one that's going to hurt you the most.
Yeah.
And it's funny when I started to put that together, I realized, well, this is actually a perfect topic because Selchuk, as I always tell you, you are the premier and elite when it comes to underwriting and just due diligence. You are like a master in that space of doing things the right way. So yes, the what I just said applies to multifamily real estate. Who's
Hmm.
not paying the rent? Why are they not paying the
Yeah.
rent? Why are these numbers? Why is the potential for these numbers here, but the actual numbers are here? What's
Yeah.
going on? Why aren't they matching
Hmm.
up? What numbers are
Yeah.
missing? Why is the water bill so high every
Yeah.
month? What's going on
Yeah.
with that? And little things
Hmm.
like that. Why are we not receiving revenue when this person has three parking spaces? We,
Hmm.
minor things, but if you're paying attention to those minor things, you'll catch the big things. You'll catch the big
Yeah.
things. And if you're looking at
Hmm.
your data, you can see trends before anything happens. There are market
Hmm.
conditions. So, a metro region of America, a metropolitan area, could have a certain thing happening that's impacting everybody. The quicker you can see that, the quicker you can adjust to it. If a legislation is changing or a rule is changing, a tax code is changing,
Hmm.
how does that
Yeah.
impact my business? Always look at how do these external things impact me and my stakeholders, my general
Yeah.
partners, and my limited partners. So you got to consider how does that affect me? Almost like saying, so what? If someone says, there's going to be a rate increase, so what? Always so what your business. Why is that important to
Hmm.
me? Why is that important to me? And it may not be,
Yeah.
but it's still good to know. And then again, you don't
Hmm.
want to miss the thing that's important to you and you ignored it. And now your business is struggling because you missed the opportunity to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Those, I think having a dashboard, and there's many dashboards out there, and I like a dashboard for the simple reason that if you create a dashboard, it has the data that you need on it. It has the
Hmm.
data that you need. If you drive a car regular, you don't race or anything, you may not need a tachometer. You may not need that. You may not need to know
Yeah.
your boost, how much boost your turbo boost. You may not need certain gauges and
Hmm.
dials. But if you're running at a certain level, you may need that. So it's good to know, what am I going to need for my business? How much revenue
Yeah.
is coming in? How much am I getting paid on time? What are my chargebacks?
Hmm.
What are my deliverable? I mean, my receivables. Is everything happening as it should? Because just like a check engine light, if there's any blip on the screen or the system, if there's a glitch or something that didn't work right, check engine light
Hmm.
comes on. Nothing may
Yeah.
be wrong, but it's like, hey, something happened. You may want to check that. It may be nothing, but it might be something. And in the same way with your business, if you have a dashboard, you can look at it in the morning or in the afternoon, or whenever you look at it, and see the health of the business. Is it running as it should? And it can sometimes
Hmm.
help you to see an issue before anybody else. So I think it's good to have a dashboard and customize it so it has the things you need and maybe some things that your stakeholders need. Sometimes you might say, I don't
Yeah.
need that metric. Well, marketing might need that metric,
Yeah.
or someone else might need that metric. So it may be important.
Hmm.
But have something where you can look at it from a just a bird's eye view. Just look at the screen and say, this. Okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. What? Don't know about that. Let's check that. It helps you to
Hmm.
kind of, the quicker you can make decisions, let me say it this way, the quicker you can make decisions, the better you can be, as far as it's a competitive advantage to be able to make a decision
Yeah.
quicker than someone else. And
Yeah.
a dashboard helps you to have the information so you can process it and make decisions quicker than potentially your competition or someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. So, after all, looking back, well, then what advice would you give yourself, your younger version of yourself, at the start of this journey? Then, so we were wrapping up here.
I, in hindsight, some of this was intentional, some of it was incidental, it just happened. But having a purpose for your business, other than just making money, I mean, making money is important, don't get me wrong, but it should be, it's a main thing, but it's also a byproduct of the excellence or the service or the good you're providing. If it's the main thing, your business may lose character and you may do things that go against your integrity, your code, your mission, vision, and value system. So know your North Star, know what you're doing, and how is your business affecting, benefiting, or impacting the society around you. Know its place. That way, when things get tough, you can articulate why you still need to have this service or this thing.
Hmm.
And you can talk about it in a deeper place than, well, trying to make some money so I can buy my next house. That's cute and all, but you need to have a deeper mission than that. And I think multifamily real estate is a deeper mission. Selchuk, let's be real.
Hmm.
We're improving communities. We're
Yeah.
having safe, clean, sound places for people to live. We're
Hmm.
hiring, there's a whole bunch of people to get hired in this process to create a B property and make it B plus, or add a
Hmm.
value add to it. It benefits the society, it benefits the community. There's so many people that benefit from what we do that it's extremely important. So to me, it's a business, absolutely. There's also a component that's a public service. There's a public service component. We benefit
Yeah.
communities, whether people like it or not. Test me on that, challenge me on that. We
Yeah.
benefit communities. And just like
Yeah.
I feel like
Definitely.
in my business, I was benefiting the employees that we had, I would say the same thing about multifamily real estate. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Very perfect. Well, for listeners that navigate in uncertainty in today's market, we're in the same market. When I remember back in the 2008, prior to 2008, there's so similarities today. And well, out of all these, what's your number one takeaway for it, though?
Resilience. Resilience.
Resilience. Exactly.
Things, things are
Resilience.
changing so much. Things are changing so much. Have the ability to weather the storm, i.e., when things are good, maybe you put some more money in your contingency fund. Maybe you put some more money in your
Hmm.
reserves. You do things that protect you from the downturn. In the downturn, run lean, but still maintain your principles and your level of excellence so that when things go rich again, you can go right back in it. I think it's extremely important to be resilient. I find it very hard to be resilient if you don't have a story,
Yeah.
i.e., your
Yeah.
mission, your vision. Why are we doing this? We're here for a greater good, something greater than I just need to make a buck or two. Because if you're trying to make a buck, you're going to make it the easiest way you can. If you have a service to a community, you're going to do what it takes to do that. It's a mission. A mission is driven. You're driven to see this thing through, and that's a stronger drive. So resilience. Resilience comes from having that kind of mission focus.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Well, while I listen to you, I took some notes here for my key takeaways. I would like to share with you and with our listeners. Awesome. And number one is that pay attention to patterns. Even the small shifts in customer behavior often signal big economic changes. Be proactive. Absolutely. Take them serious, right? And the second of them here, the metrics are non-negotiable. So once you set up your metrics, we don't want to change it. So on the other episodes prior to to this, we've done the same thing on the real estate. The metrics, right? Your return numbers, they're non-negotiable. And then think of your reports and numbers as your business check engine lights, so to speak. Yeah. So another one is always choose people over profit. When your profit drops, you're going to need those people, value those people. Yes. Business can double as a platform for impact, training, and leadership development. Yeah. And another one would be prepare. Don't react. Be proactive. Spotting downturns early lets you adapt instead of panic. So basically proactive. And well, this is the timeless lesson, especially for real estate investors, entrepreneurs, and the life itself. Same principles applies to everything. And so these are my key takeaways, and they're really valuable. And so, your story is a powerful reminder that, your numbers are more than just the figures. They're signals, and by paying attention to those small shifts and treating them like a check engine lights, and you can anticipate challenges and pivot with confidence and even see market trends before the headlines do, because you don't want to wait for the headlines. You don't want to rely on government news. We already know that. If you don't know by now, please don't get in the business world yet. Just reset your mind and just, make your decision again. And if you found the value in today's episode, well, be sure to subscribe, please, to the Multifamillionaire podcast and share it with a fellow entrepreneur or investors who could use this insight. So, Cheddy, thank you so much for valuable advices, and you're sharing wisdom and with us. And today, well, remember, track your metrics, trust signals, and build the resilience. Number one takeaway from Cheddy to thrive no matter what the market is. So We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye for now. Thank you so much, Selcuk. Have a great one.